Tristan, are you done in there? We've got the shipment that needs to be sent out by 2 o'clock.
Oh, yep. Hold on, I gotta pinch one more off. Oh my god.
You're about 3 pounds light today. Make sure it's a big, heavy shit.
3 pounds light. What are you talking about? I got a surplus over here that I haven't been giving you.
Oh, okay, well, you probably shouldn't stockpile shit because...
Stockpile what? I'm stockpiling cheese.
I know you're stockpiling cheese, but we kind of need to ship it all out, so if you're stockpiling it, then I don't know how much
you're
cheese
trying to
do you
ship it
have
out, I'm trying to shit it out. I can only shit so much in a day.
Are the laxatives not working for you?
I mean, they're working fine.
Yeah, for Beverly, she's kind of dried up. The laxatives aren't really working for her.
Oh, I'm so dehydrated.
Did you finish your prune juice?
Come on, drink your prune juice, Beverly.
Bertram went all the way to Goat India to get those prunes for you, so...
When are we gonna get paid for this?
Paid?
I'm fucking exhausted. I'm working a hard day's work.
Well, Tristan, our pay is that this is, well...
I was wondering the same thing, Clark. Have you spoke with Bertram about when we'll be paid?
Well, the funny thing about...
Why do you keep saying, well, you taking my fucking money? Give me my money, Clark.
Well, the thing is, there is no money here. So...
What are you talking about?
There's no real way to pay.
What are you talking about? Do you saying I'm producing the best delicacy in fucking Goatland?
Yeah, I mean,
but
yes,
I'm not gonna get anything for it. You're telling me people are paying for it, aren't they?
Well,
we're not just handing it out to them.
Well, it works like this. You see, here on Goat Island, it's a socialist economy, so
what?
The cheese, yeah.
I didn't vote for Obama to be here in a socialist country.
I know. I would never have thought that it would work either, but this is how they do it. So we make the cheese, and we give the cheese to Bertram, who distributes it to the community.
And why do I think I can trust Bertram to give away my cheese? For all I know, he's probably eating it.
He does eat some of it because, like, he is one of the citizens. And it's become one of our staples. You know how, like, the food pyramid has dairy? Well, our cheese is now on their food pyramid.
You tell them... That doesn't make any... What?
Cheese, they didn't have a food pyramid before, but now, we've kind of talked about what they eat and, like, the roughage, and our cheese now...
How much of their diet is supposed to be cheese now? Our cheese.
Well, at least 33%, a third of it, because...
Oh my god, is that far up the chain?
Oh, quickly, yeah, it's because they've started eating their own cheese, too. It's become cheese...
That's disgusting.
I know. They prefer our cheese, but their cheese is kind of like a knockoff. Sort of like tofu to meat.
So what?
They call it,
What are they doing with it? Are they spreading it on their sandwiches?
No, they don't. They just kind of eat it, They're goats. It gets given to them in little curds in a big trough, and they all eat it with their whey and, like, some hay.
I don't really like this, and I don't know if I want to do it anymore, but I got about 6 pounds of cheese over here. I'm thinking we should go sell it ourselves.
But what do you mean sell? There's nothing we could get for it besides other supplies. I mean, the toilet paper that was dropped off today, the leaves over there, that is part of our payment, right? Like, we get that for free because we provide the cheese to the person that goes and gets the leaves for us to wipe our ass with.
Well, maybe I want the new iPhone.
Well, the iPhone 11 does look cool. It's not that much different from the iPhone 10, though.
Well, I don't even have the iPhone 10. I still got the iPhone 6S, Clark. I found it on a sidewalk.
Oh, well, it's definitely a huge upgrade from the iPhone 6S.
That's what I'm saying. How am I ever going to get an iPhone 12 or 11, whatever it's on? How am I supposed to get an iPhone 12 when my cheese is being given away?
Well, Tristan, how would you get an iPhone 11 delivered here?
How did Sister Marble get here? Drop it in.
Well, we don't know how Sister Marble got here, and in fact, she hasn't come back.
Well, I mean, if Sister Marble has been here, that means there's some entrance.
Well, of course, there's some entrance. I mean, we got here, but obviously the United States Postal Service or the Amazon drones don't know what it is.
Amazon knows how to get here, I guarantee it.
Well, if Amazon knows how to get here, then maybe they could deliver it, but I just don't know.
What's up, dudes?
Hey, DG!
I just started my shift.
Hey! Well, I feel so much safer now that DG's here. Hey, DG, you got the ship?
You know it, dude. I've been working all day on it.
Good, we're a little low today. Bertram's swinging by in about 30 minutes to pick up today's thing, and let me see here.
This fucking guy again, this fucking guy.
We've got 2 pounds, 2, 4, 6, 8. We're about 2 pounds, 5 ounces short, so.
Yeah, I got about 5 pounds waiting for you.
Okay, cool. Thank you, DG. You see, Beverly's all dried up.
Oh, I
She
think
hasn't
I'm
been.
dying.
I don't think you're dying.
What's wrong, dude? You're looking kind of pale, dude.
Drink your prune juice.
I can't even lift my hands.
Tristan, will you have Beverly drink her prune juice?
Why do I have to hand Beverly the prune juice? She's
Well,
your,
you're the only one.
she's
Shelly
your girlfriend.
would do it, but well, of course.
Of course
but I mean,
Shelly would do it, but Shelly's gone.
Well, I know I miss her, but she'll be back. And when she comes back, she can take care of Beverly when she dries up. But until then, I got to get DG clocked in.
Fuck this. Fuck this.
Oh, 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 oh,
Light it up, DG.
oh.
Light a match when you're done. It kind of stinks.
What? It doesn't stink. I want to light an incense though, just cause.
Oh yeah, that smells really good, DG.
Thanks.
Is that patchouli?
Lavender and patchouli.
Love it.
How'd you know?
Oh, I used to light incense in my day. I worked at an incense factory.
Oh, you did. You worked at an incense factory.
Yeah, back before I got my job at Capital Steel, my manager, Kurt, he got the job at Capital Steel, and he told me how great it was, so.
Wait, you worked at a place called Capital Steel? What do they do there?
They make steel. I was a forklift driver, but...
What's steel?
Oh, steel. It is a very hard...
What kind of shit did you steal?
No, DG!
Yeah!
No, DG! Steel is metal.
What? Like the music. Yeah.
Yeah, I kinda like that.
So you're in a metal band and you stole things for a living, dude. That's fucking punk. That's hardcore, dude. Knock it.
Okay,
Knock
I'll
it.
nux on that. I'll give you some hoof.
Fucking cool, dude. Back in my day, before I was a security guard, part of the system, part of the man, I used to go goat tipping. Nah, these days you'd get fucking put in jail for it.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. DG, I don't mean to be weird, but can you
What are you talking about?
get to work? It's just you've been here for like 5 minutes, and you haven't done your patrol yet, so I'm just,
My patrol? Dude, I'm not a security guard here, am I?
I thought so.
I thought I was just, okay, I'll patrol. Thought I was producing cheese, dude, but whatever, you're the boss, man.
Well, I thought you did both. I just thought you would help me out with the cheese this one time. I know you've been wanting to get on the line, but Bertram only has allowed me for 2.
Been working here for 2 weeks, still haven't really got a chance to get that full-time line position. Just let me know when something opens up, dude.
DG, look, I want to get you hired on full time.
I don't want to hear it, dude. I don't want to hear it. I'm gonna go be a fucking security guard.
You heard what Bertram said. I'm only allowed to have these employees right now, so you have given me this goat cheese on the DL, and I appreciate it. And the second I'm allowed, I swear to God, DG, you will be working full time on the line.
Well, I'm not getting benefits right now, so I sure hope so.
DG, I'm sorry, but we need a security guard too.
Oh, it's cool, dude. It's cool. It's cool, dude. I'll just, just let me get my goat TV.
I feel really bad.
God damn, that guy is annoying.
No, he's not. He's a nice guy.
No, he's fucking annoying. I don't want him to ever be part of this.
Well, hey.
I don't know what you see in the guy at all.
DG's the one that showed me how to make cheese in the first place. Without DG, I wouldn't even be here.
Well, without DG, yeah, I guess you're right. Without DG, the world wouldn't have known how great my cheese was.
Exactly. Hey, speaking of which, don't forget about the milk. You have to get a couple gallons of the sperm, too.
Who died and put you in charge, Clark?
Well, Tristan, this was I'm sorry, but he loved the
Tristan,
milk.
just make the damned milk. sick of hearing you speak.
Beverly, there's no reason to be angry. I know you're sick, but...
I'm gonna fucking kill her.
No. We can...
She's nothing but dead weight.
We're alright. Everything's going to...
Oh my god!
Oh my god, what is that?
Clark, I'm scared.
I don't know what this is.
I've never seen anything like it.
Oh my god, it's like a big... big bird. Like a pterodactyl.
Maybe, what's it doing?
It dropped something. It's flying down to it. But they want...
Oh my god, it's on fire. I think it's a phoenix.
Oh, I caught this piece of paper. Oh, it's a postcard from Shelly Ann. It's one of those...
Oh yeah, let me see it. Let me see it.
One of those mailbirds. Here you go.
Okay. Clark, your community college didn't do anything for me.
Can't read?
I can't read it.
Oh, she wrote in cursive. We stopped teaching that at Clark State.
I've never seen the script before.
We stopped teaching that at Clark State so long ago.
So you teach JavaScript, but you don't teach cursive.
Basically, yeah. I don't know.
What do you mean you haven't taught it a long time ago? It's only been open for, like, what, 6 months?
Well, we taught it, now we don't. I mean, you were the first student.
I was part of the first curriculum, and I didn't get taught it. When did you teach
Well,
it?
we tried it in the second curriculum, but by the third curriculum, it was out again.
So you're telling me some lucky sex gremlins out there got to know what this script is, and I didn't. That's fine. That's fine.
Alright, I'll read it. Hey, babies. I'm still eat, pray, and lovin'. I'll be there soon. I miss you all with all my heart. Signed, Princess Philheimer, Shelly Ann.
Who the hell is Princess Felheim, and what is she doing with my wife?
Well, apparently, I don't know what this means, but on the front it's a gorgeous picture of an goat Indian castle.
Wow.
Stunning photo, honestly.
Is this what she's... Wait. Princess Felheimer.
Yeah.
That's her last name.
Well, right.
My baby's a princess.
Wait, yeah, that must mean she became... What does that mean? She became some sort of princess out there?
I mean, they sent a phoenix out with the letter, I mean.
Does that mean there's a...
Maybe.
A man?
I think the man is me.
You're the man?
I think I'm the man. Well, I mean, we're married.
You're right, so I guess that makes you what, a prince or a king? What does that make you?
Bitch, I'm a king.
The Duke of Goat Island. King Tristan Pinpoint Deal.
Knight me too.
Oh yeah, let me get the saber. Wait, I can't knight you.
There will be no knighting process. What are you speaking of?
Oh, nothing. We got the postcard from Shelly Ann.
And where is my 50 pounds of cheese?
Oh, okay, we're wrapping it up right over here. Let me see.
There you go.
So, if you weigh it, it's going to be 47.5.
So where's the other 2.5?
It's, well, look, you see Beverly, she's not feeling very well. I know you went to get the prunes from Goat India. We very much appreciate that you did that. But they didn't make her feel any better, so we're just a little light, but, we'll make up for it next
Bertram,
time.
I'm dying. Help me.
She thinks she's dying. I told her she'd be okay.
You told me I would have 50 pounds of cheese a day. And here we are 2 weeks in and you're already coming up short.
Well, one of our workers, if you be honest with me, if you just reason with me, one of my workers, one of my cows, if you will, is down.
And who?
Beverly, she's down. We're down a line. I don't know what you expect me to do.
Have you been feeding her?
Oh, she hasn't been eating, actually, but it's because she's sick. That's why she's
I
down.
can't keep anything down. I can barely lift, Bertram.
Tristan gave her the glass of prune juice. Has that gone through you any, baby?
The what?
The glass of prune juice. Did it help at all?
No.
I hear your stomach gurgling. Are you going to throw up again? Oh, baby, I'm sorry. Hang on, let me
Oh, maybe that's a... Hold on. Bertram, try this. Maybe this is a special kind of cheese.
A really limited edition, I guess. You could try it.
Limited edition cheese. It's not bad. I think I may have some acquaintances who might like it, though.
So you're thinking it's like a... Maybe welfare cheese.
No, maybe sauteed. It could be...
Sort of like a fried spam.
Well, I mean, everything here is welfare, Clark.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You're right.
Speaking of welfare, Bertram, reason with me. When are we getting paid?
I didn't.
Have I not been paying you and letting you stay here, giving you food, giving you housing, giving you shelter?
I tried to tell them this, Bertram, but I don't think they understand socialism very well.
I don't understand socialism. You know why? Because I'm a right-winging, bitter-clinging, proud clinger of my guns, my God, and my religion.
Frankly, I'm not sure what you mean by that, Tristan.
It means I'm the Republican.
They don't. It's this thing where we come from. It's this backwards. I mean, I guess I used to vote with them, but I stay out of politics now. But it's this backwards party.
Oh, you stay out of politics now because you don't got no spine, Clark. You come here. Bertram treats you so well. He doesn't treat any of us well. Look, he doesn't even care that Beverly's dying.
He went to Goat India to get prunes.
He did not go to Goat India. He sent one of his people to do it. You think Bertram specifically went out to Goat India?
Well, I haven't seen him all day until like a little bit ago when he gave me the prunes.
I in fact did not go to Goat India myself.
Well, I mean, you delegated, you're a manager.
I delegated, yeah, exactly, that's what I do. I lead Goat Island.
So what did you do?
I'll tell you what I did. I'm a fucking king, Bertram. And I don't have to listen to you.
And who died and made you king, Tristan?
Ever had a Princess Philheimer?
We got a postcard from Shelly
No.
Ann.
No, I haven't.
What do you think
You
this
got a
means?
postcard.
Yeah, what do you think this means? She signed it Princess
Huh?
Philheimer, Shelly Ann.
This is official stationery from the royal family of Goat India.
Yeah, I guess...
Tristan, you very well may be a king. It looks like, signed right here, Princess Philheimer.
How could that have happened, though? Does that mean she married somebody?
No, not necessarily. They're very weird people over there in Goat India. That's why I did not get myself.
Oh, they just make people kings and queens out of nowhere?
All I know is that they take their cheese and they produce it anywhere and they throw it and they don't clean it up with anything and they just cheese wherever they are and just leave it right on the street.
That's what you told me. Yeah, I believe it.
It sounds like the kind of backwoods people, but we might have to clean it up a little.
Frankly, I don't know what to make of any of this. Just give me the 47.5 pounds of cheese.
Okay, here's that, and then Tristan is getting ready to make the milk right now for the other batches that you need, so...
Oh, Bertram, can you come over here and help me a little bit?
Oh, I wasn't expecting this.
Can you just lick the tip a little bit to try to...
Oh, like this.
Oh, hold on. Give me some of that prune juice that Beverly was using. Give me some of that prune juice.
Oh, here we go. Are you okay?
Oh!
Are you okay, Beverly?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there.
I love you. Just let me know if you need anything.
Oh!
Oh, okay, hang on. He's done with his milk.
Oh!
I got the... Okay, here we go.
Oh, thank you, Bertram. You just got a king's milk.
All right, then here's your gallon of milk.
Thank you.
Now,
I will be tomorrow. 50 pounds of cheese. Do not let anything happen again, Tristan. I don't give a fuck if you're a king in Goat India. You are a peasant here, and your job is to produce milk and cheese.
one thing before you go, Bertram. I need to make DG full-time shitter.
Not gonna happen, ever.
Why ever?
Because he already has a job. He's already a security guard for the goat farm. We discussed this. The plan was to tell him forever that anytime he will become a full-time employee.
Okay. I will
Just keep telling him next week, and then when next week comes, tell him something happened with the paperwork. Make something up.
All right. Okay. I will do that. I understand.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow, Bertram.
Beverly, get some rest. Expert Trump. Oh, I think I'm having a seizure.
She's shaking.
She'll be fine.
Do you have a shaman, a goat medic?
Well, no, not really.
Beverly?
I'm here.
Okay, everything's okay. She's going to be alright. Hello and welcome to MOATAIF. We're back. This is part 2 of our unpacking of the debacle that was the Clark County Progressive Democrats and their failed takeover of the Clark County Democratic Party. So if you haven't listened to part 1, it should be just last week's episode, so go on back and listen to it. Not sure if this is it. It's looking to be a 3-parter. I'm not going to say that for sure, so but it looks like it seems like it's going to be a 3-parter.
Very well could be. There's lots of shit we got to get to.
So make sure that you're caught up, because we're gonna not really go back too far from
recap.
The point of last week. So in 2016, Dan Sachs prepares and presents his presentation on messaging, political framing, and the flaws of the Democratic Party to local interest groups and libraries and other avenues. He went to like God, what was that one called that came up? What's it called? Pam Dixon Dixon started it.
Vaguely remember this.
And it became, God, what was that? It was...
Oh, dude, I remember that.
It was a big...
it
was a big
I don't know if I
movement.
actually went to the thing that he did, though. I don't know if I think you might have gone to it, but I don't think I
only went to one. We only went to one, and I remember, I think you and I were there together, possibly, but... we were there.
I don't remember
we went
being
to one.
There. Were we?
Yeah, we went to one where the genesis of the group, which we'll get into, but he told us, what the hell was that? Indivisible. Is that what it's called?
Yes,
yeah.
Indivisible. Yep.
Pam Dixon was the head of Indivisible in Springfield, and that's how she started getting involved in the CCPD. But we are getting a little ahead of ourselves. He started giving this messaging thing, talking about framing and how the Republicans use it so much better than Democrats, and how Democrats waste their time arguing with Republicans on Facebook when they should be worrying about just getting other Democrats to vote, and not really worrying about changing Republican minds, like finding the people who they can agree with and making them agree with them, not all this arguing, and sort of his vision for the Democratic Party. And now you mentioned last week that he had been working on it for a while, and that this was his way of...
He had been working on it for a couple years. He had read so many books about political messaging and all of this different shit. And he truly believed that he had become an expert in the subject, and he wanted to get to a point where he felt like he was an authority to speak on the subject.
And I really thought he was. I mean, honestly, from the first time I sat through the presentation, it was convincing. I mean, I really and inspiring to a certain degree, because why not? I mean, at that point we had already, just lost the election in 2016, which I recapped at the end of the episode was devastating to Democrats. Of course, not only because Hillary Clinton lost, but so did literally every other Democrat in Clark County, period. And really the state of Ohio, who was up for election.
And what Dan Sachs was also doing on the side is, before the CCPD even started, Dan Sachs organized with David Pepper, I believe it was, and he joined the Ohio Democratic Party. The Ohio Democratic Party set aside this group for political messaging and everything like that. And Dan really wanted to be in charge of this group. Dan believed he was the authority on it, but they brought in, various different people, marketing people from different firms and shit, it was an actual coalition to try to get this done. And within a meeting or two of that, it became very clear to Dan that nobody really wanted to listen to him there either. So he was kind of putting his focus both ways on both the Clark County Progressive Democrats and the Ohio Democratic Party, trying to just messaging. That's all it was about. Messaging.
He really saw messaging as the biggest problem in the Democratic Party, and the biggest way to fix everything too. I mean, he saw it as their biggest weakness, but also what could be their biggest strength if wielded properly, and none of them were willing to wield it.
It makes sense, if you think about it even just a little bit. I mean,
right.
We knew what it meant to be a Democrat, but nobody knew what that meant. I guess even the Democrats didn't even know what it meant. That's so much what the fucking Clark County Progressive Democrat Party was about.
Right.
That not even the Democrats could agree on shit and were message to each other.
So Dan really has gotten this. He really sounded like a political candidate, God's honest truth. And he
I remember distinctly. I remember you, me, Lisa, and Dan driving to a library in Riverside and helping him set up in the basement. And I can't remember, it was like Blue Wave, Ohio, some weird progressive group that had formed.
Weird that you would remember that.
And it was an important to the story because when we left, after we got through with that meeting, Dan and Lisa kind of broke the news to you and I that they were thinking about putting a group together.
Is that where they told us?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, you had maybe heard of it beforehand. I don't know. But that was kind of where they started letting the news go that they were working on something secret. Mm-hmm. And Dan, because I remember distinctly in the car making we were talking about, he kind of brought up the idea. He's like, so I'm kind of thinking of putting together a group of diverse, progressive Democrats who can sort of take over, literally, the Clark County Democratic Party by getting elected to Central Committee, running for open seats or running against people that were dinos, Democrat in name only, or just people who were not progressive Democrats, people who shouldn't be.
We all knew what he was talking about.
Exactly. And I remember thinking oh yeah, okay, so I'm trying to think of people, and so they were talking about, well, who are some people, I remember him asking, who are some people who you might think would come to this meeting? So I remember being like, well, this isn't something I would really invite Hannah, Nicholas, or Bree to, this isn't, I don't know who we would invite. And I remember saying so maybe Gene Kelly. And I remember saying
you brought up Gene Kelly?
Yeah, and I remember it was this point of well, and I remember Dan's well, actually, he's kind of somebody the exact opposite of who we would invite.
That's awkward.
Oh. And I remember we kind of talked about it afterwards, and I'm like, I seem like this really big Gene Kelly fanboy. I didn't mean, he's just the first person that came to my mind, and I'm like, well, maybe Gene Kelly would be prompted to try to take over the Democratic Party because they didn't really support him enough in 2016 to actually get him reelected after 32 years of corruption, but still.
Yeah.
So I don't know, so that was when he put our pulse on it, and I was instantly yes, we should totally do that. I'm absolutely down, because I was into it for the secret aspect of it. I'm we're gonna go to Dan's house, we're gonna meet in secret, and we're gonna put together this plan with people I actually like. You know what I mean? I'm this is gonna be cool.
Right, we're gonna boot out these old farts. And I remember at the very beginning too, there was we wanted to be very calculated in who we invited first. We didn't want to invite people who we thought would blab at all. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to be extremely subtle about it. Okay, let's start inviting the core group in. And Dan stressed this so much. He's like, my kids went to what's the type of school, Zach?
Montessori
school, and they had a system there where all the kids were so good because they brought in the good kids first, and then when a bad kid comes in, they assimilate to the environment and they're not bad anymore, and then there's a culture of being good. We want a culture here of whatever.
Good, diversity, openness, progressive,
yep. It doesn't sound like anything bad saying it, but we'll get to the point where I think of why, you'll see soon why I just... hearing it, even saying it myself, makes me want to fucking die.
There were so many things that were just so repetitive about the CCPD, and that was definitely one of them, the Montessori example. So, one of the first times, so the first meeting that we had was at Dan Sack's house, which was obviously, the recurring meeting place. He has a very nice manor in Springfield, and perfect opportunity for people to come. And at first, I have the first meeting's attendance here. It was Lisa McKinney Stanley, Nancy Sachs, Dan Sachs, Mana Hess, myself, I believe you were there, and Aisha Duncan.
Aisha Duncan.
Now, Aisha Duncan, I think it's important to note, was the only black woman at the table at the time. And we all sat there and bonded over being liberals, being progressive, but most importantly, over being atheist. And honestly, it was a great night because way back in 2013 when we first started going over to Dan's house and going to the Clark County Democratic Party meetings with Dan, there was a night where we had a conversation with him, Nancy, and Lisa about us being atheists when Dan admitted that he was also an atheist.
He's like, I would consider myself an atheist.
Yeah, we got in our car and literally drove home, floored, howling at the moon.
we would every time we left Dan's house, we would fucking scream because it was such a tame atmosphere. It was very you had to be so calm and collected, and as soon as we would leave, we'd just be like, fuck. We just had to get it all out because we had hours of not being able to cuss or be silly.
And it was especially strong that day because we were like, he's an atheist too. It was wild.
I remember that so well, screaming out the windows.
Right. It was so much fun. And so flash forward to 2016 and we're doing it again. And not only is, Lisa's, I can't remember the word she used in her Lech interview. What did she say she was?
I don't know, pagan?
Yeah, that's right. She's pagan. And Dan, so we're all talking, and not only that, but then also Mana Hess, who is science-based, also admits to being an atheist. And we just kind of sit around talking about that. Aisha Duncan never comes back to another meeting. We never see her again. That's kind of the long and skinny of that one. It's really awkward. But at that first meeting,
we scared her off.
We really established kind of what we were going to do. And just sort of inviting people to these meetings and making our plan. The next person that came was obviously Gary Hess, Mana's husband.
Just a small town boy from Appalachia, folks. That's where it comes from.
And Andy Hurtle, a bald, nerdy man. Nerdy
man. Worked at the Wright Pat Air Force Base. I'm pretty sure at the tennis courts or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Some random, and also at the library.
At the Clark County Public Library, yes. Do you know how he got involved with our group?
I think it was through one of those functions that Dan went and spoke at. I want to say it was the Indivisible thing. I think.
Yep, I think you're right. Yeah, because
I want to say he
eventually.
Started going to that.
Yep, you're right. That's how we got him. Weird. And so this bald man, and I want to say one of my favorite parts and one of the main reasons I kept coming back and going was because we were invited to a family dinner beforehand. Dan.
Oh, always.
Well,
yep.
Dan wouldn't cook, but Nancy would cook, and Dan invited Lisa. You were there from work, of course, so you were obviously invited, and I would come over to the meeting about an hour early. And we would have a lovely dinner together. And that was by far my favorite part of the whole experience. Because eventually, it all went downhill to absolute, complete fucking boredom. And so, at first, we could all meet around the kitchen table. And those were probably our best meetings, where we got the most brainstorming done.
Absolutely, because we were the actual CCPD. Because as soon as everybody else showed up, we just kind of caught them up on what we talked about.
Yeah, exactly. So eventually we move into the living room and we have to have a big projector screen. And we've got Lori Moravets there, who is, the lady in our outro who talks about drinking your prune juice.
Drink your prune juice, you old bat. How did we get that recording?
She's a special needs teacher, and she was there that night so that we were gonna record this video.
Okay.
And because
we'll
she was there, we were just like, do you want to be in it? Because it was we had already asked everybody else, so we kind of had to. So that's a good example of a good meeting. That was probably one of the last good meetings that we had, where we had a really solid group of 10 to 15 people that were actually like really strong. I feel like could have been a really strong group. Like Dan,
right.
Nancy, you, me, Gary, Mana, Andy Hertel, who else was I thinking? Lori Moravets, and
This is when we're kind of in the living room. There was enough people to kind of fit in the living room with a few chairs, people sitting on the couches, sort of us just kind of like being in a little circle, brainstorming, bitching about Trump, whatever we were doing back then.
Of course.
He's a Russian operative.
Very important, Crystal Phillips, big personality, big member of the CCPD, of course. And we came up with our plan to essentially recruit people to run for Clark County Central Committee, like I was saying. And we finally got that across to people. The meetings turned into us explaining to everybody how the Clark County Democratic Party was structured and how we were going to enact our plan. But then nobody actually wanted to run for the seats.
Well, yeah, because we would show up to every single meeting, and like every single time there'd be like 2 or 3 new people coming in for the first time. So it's like, okay, because they're here, let's go ahead and give them the rundown of how the CCDP runs, and let's tell them about Central Committee. But because we had been there since the very, very fucking beginning, we had heard this fucking... Dan found no way to make that any shorter. There was no
started the same way. There's 99 seats. There's 90 precincts, and each one has a captain on the Central Committee. And each seat gets this, and each person does. And oh my God, it's so long. And so the long and skinny of it is there's 90 seats, and we want to get more of them than they have. But they all have to be in precincts. They're all in different areas, and the person has to live in that area.
We would spend at least 20 to 25 minutes on that every meeting.
And in that there would be like a question, oh, so you can't be appointed? No, you can be appointed.
And this is from people who have been there since like the second meeting. And this would happen every time. Like, wait, I thought that you could get appointed. No, I'm pretty sure you can. Like, no. And then like
and it derails us for like 20, 30 minutes. One of the biggest things that we talked about was how we were going to have a newsletter and a website that had articles in it that would have generic articles, like how to request an absentee ballot, how to register to vote, how to find your elected officials, who is your precinct captain, these kinds of... When is the next Clark County Democratic Party meeting? What is the difference between the appellate judge and the Court of Common Pleas?
Yeah, right. We
had
Dan
wanted.
4 or 5 meetings of that, and the whole idea of it, like, let's stockpile these articles. Let's not do anything with them right now, but let's have them to put up, sort of like as soon as we take over. Let's come in and be like, oh, look what we got, look what we're doing.
Right, because we're supposed to be having put together all of this groundwork so that we could essentially come in right before the 2018 election, right after the 2018 election, and take over the Democratic Party in turn before 2020.
Yep. Had like 6 or 7 meetings before we actually decided. I don't know if that's exaggerating, but it was a while before we actually decided, okay, let's actually do this. Let's start writing the articles.
And let's assign somebody to write them, a committee of people to write them.
Let's have a committee of people to write them.
Including Andy Hertel.
Andy Hertel.
And Andy went home and came back with an article, and I shit you not, about Bernie Sanders.
So fucking awkward. We had spent so long talking about what this was going to be, to the point where you and I were fucking brain dead to it. Just totally numb to it. And Andy had been there since the second meeting.
And he completely just got it absolutely 100% wrong.
Dan could not have been more clear and explicit about what he expected. And I remember Dan was fucking annoyed.
I really think that was the day that we were doomed.
Oh, absolutely. It was so awkward because Dan, like, he's like, well, Andy, this isn't really a good article, but it's not necessarily like what we wanted.
Right, because we wanted...
Oh, well, I just thought that... Like, that's kind of how he talked, right? Like,
because he's like, I thought this is what people would click. And it's like, we're not trying to get
not
clicks,
your fucking
dude.
job, Andy. Oh, my God. What a fucking...
So cringe.
Ooh.
It was so bad. And that was... For the longest time... So besides explaining how the Clark County Democratic Party was structured and how we were going to take over, the first big task that we had was developing our mission and vision statements, which took months and months and months and months and months of meetings.
And it was something so simple.
Just to come up with a statement like, we believe in diverse, progressive candidates that are open to discussion and inclusiveness in their decision making as a party. Something like that. I mean, it was a little better than that and a lot stronger worded because, my God, Dan was sure that we would have something beautifully articulate to sell to people. So once we develop that, then we have to explain that to all of the members.
This is our mission statement. This is what we... Oh, my God. Zach, how long did this go on for? Months and months and months. An entire
whole year, yeah.
Oh, every week we would meet.
We had meetings from the end of 2016 all the way through the 2018 election when I was elected as a member of the Clark County Central Committee.
That's fucking ridiculous. And I couldn't even run because wherever I was, like, somebody was already, like...
You lived with Dan at the time.
And I thought my plan was to move away, too, because, like, I was going to graduate from college. That was the whole idea.
Yeah, you lived with Dan at the time, so obviously Dan was going to be your person running.
And at the time, I was horrifically depressed.
Yeah, so you were already in a terrible place for these.
Some of the meetings I was so dead inside I just stopped coming to. I lived there, but I would just stay in my room.
Yeah, there was a time when you didn't come down you would come down for like the dinner and then you'd go back upstairs. Sometimes you didn't even come down for the dinner.
Yeah.
Of course, I was always worried about you at the time, so that did worry me, but obviously here we are now.
Yeah, but I mean, at least I made it through it. I went to plenty of them, way more than I needed to.
And you didn't fucking miss anything.
Never.
Besides
random
Besides random new people coming, like we had Quillen Stalker and her moms come. Tyler Bowser came at one point.
Yeah, we had like at one point
Quillen.
Like younger people started to come in, like younger than us even, like
sure.
almost like fresh out of high school, maybe still in high school. And at that
Seth
point,
Flora.
It was getting way overcrowded in there. Lots of people. I didn't like most of them.
Lots of chairs.
And you and I would endlessly make fun of them, too.
We'd, like, sit on the stairs and just laugh our asses off at everything. Because it would just get completely derailed at nothing was ever accomplished. Because eventually, like I said, we started trying to get all these tasks accomplished. Like, I was going to work on the video that never got any clearance because Dan never wanted to, like, meet about it. We never got to make the articles because Andy didn't know what he was doing and couldn't do the articles, so we just gave up on that.
And Dan was being way too picky about it, too. Like, I know he was trying his best, but it's just, like, he wanted, like, Dan is a perfectionist, and I think it was hard for people to see that. Like, he is an absolute perfectionist with everything. And I think it was hard for him to, like, delegate, like, okay, like, I'm going to have people do this, I'm going to try as clear as possible, this is what I want, and they just wouldn't give him what he wanted. And he would be really... Because, like, I spent a lot of time with him. I knew he was frustrated by the whole thing in general. Like, him and Lisa would bitch. Like, on the phone, like, she would come over. They would just kind of bitch about it. Like, well, I don't know.
It was, like, honest to God, if we had been documenting it at the time, we could have done episodes and episodes and episodes of, like, drama just from, like, week-to-week shit that happened. Because there was so much going on. But, like, just in general, it was this big failure because at every meeting, we just kind of repeated the same things over and over again. Eventually, you know, you stopped coming to meetings as often. Gary and Mana stopped coming to meetings.
Pretty much all together.
Again. Never said mum about it. Didn't, like, you know, anything about it. You know, we tried our best for the longest time, and I did end up getting on the ballot. We recruited, I don't think enough to have any real effect. So we eventually had Amber Lopez join us from the Clark County Board of Elections. And Amber Lopez is a dirty, 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 dirty fucking woman.
Nasty woman, some would say.
Exactly. Amber Lopez comes in as a friend of Tracy Roberts, who's also another character. And Amber Lopez came in from the point of view of telling us how to get our petitions filled out properly, how to get on the ballot without, getting it tossed out. And she explained that for meetings and meetings and meetings and meetings. Really making it seem like she's on our side, bringing in new people who were, going to be on the petitions and helping them with their petitions, including like Pam Dixon, who was going to run for like city commission, but didn't end up happening.
Yep.
We had a lot of meetings about our fucking petitions with Amber Lopez, and she really helped us out with that. We thought she was really on our side with, these are the precincts that don't have anybody, these are the ones that do. And this was her contribution to our group.
And the whole idea too I want to emphasize this, is that we were like, the people who were going to run were going to do it unopposed, because most of the time these seats went unopposed, and that was something we went over on every meeting. Most of the time nobody ever has anybody challenge them. If we can have somebody, they won't even know that you're on the ballot.
Right,
and it's going to be a surprise to them. So you just reach out to your community and try to get people to come out and vote for you, even if
I forgot about that.
Even if you get 10 or 15 votes, you're still going to win.
Exactly, because nobody's going to run against you.
Nobody's ever going to run against you.
Because nobody's going to know we're doing this.
Most people don't even know about it, and this is why you need to know about it.
Exactly.
Here's a 20-minute conversation about how to sign up.
And meanwhile, unsuspectingly, just because I'm a Democrat, I get in the mail a letter from a man named Charlie Bush, who announces that he's running for executive chair, which, of course, if we were successful, would obviously be Dan Sachs.
Right.
And
because we would have the voting power.
So I kind of laughed at it and threw it away. It was like a generic email being like, I'm a veteran, I think, and like I worked at Navistar. I don't fucking know what he did. And I just kind of threw it away. I'm like, ha ha ha, this guy has no fucking idea what we're doing. It's almost silly to think about now, because the Clark County Democratic Party is fucking malicious.
Yes,
fucking
they are.
Backwards. They sent in, or at least, I don't know if they sent in, but Amber Lopez was a fucking mole.
They did send it in because word had gotten out, because some people didn't like what we were doing. They thought it was dirty.
So because we should be doing it like above board, and I don't fucking know what they wanted from us. But so Amber Lopez comes in and basically sells us out.
Yep.
And we go into the meeting after our elections with some people having lost, because apparently there's more other people on the ballot suddenly.
Yep.
We win X amount of seats. We never got enough that we were gonna take over at that point. But we go to the executive committee reorganization meeting in 2018, which includes the central committee people that had been elected, including myself and like Lisa Stanley and all these other. Did you go to this meeting?
Yeah, I went there.
And there was still a little bit of hope, because we had hoped, because because Amber Lopez was a Clark County progressive Democrat, we hoped that she was going to sort of negotiate some sort of concessions for us as a group in these executive committee placements. Because you're elected to Central Committee, but then the Central Committee decides who is going to be the Executive Committee. It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
So the Central Committee meets, and the only concession that we really get is that they allow Crystal Phillips to be the
treasurer or some shit.
To be the secretary.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And every other position, including the executive chair, goes to the other side, because including Charlie Bush, the man whose letter I threw away thinking it was piddly. But little did I know, he was in on the whole fucking thing.
And he was
prepared.
Yep.
And he met us.
That's probably why he ran.
Exactly. And he met us in every precinct, almost. And in the precincts that he didn't meet us in, he found other ones that were empty and countered us in every single he had us on a
Colossal fucking
chessboard,
failure.
and he had us fucking checkmated at every possible move.
Honestly, really good strategy. And they didn't find out about it until months and months and months in. I don't think like 7 or 8 months or some shit like that.
Exactly.
And they still like counteracted every single measure.
Because by that point, we hadn't even fucking done anything by that point. All
Nope.
of our work was done in like the last 2 weeks before it was time to go.
Basically, yep.
And so here we are sitting at this meeting, losing seat after seat. You know, it's like we put up somebody like, and I remember Lisa had her list of people. She's like, okay, this is, you know, for executive chair 1, we're gonna put up Austin Smith. And for every person, Lisa would get up and she'd be like, because they'd be like, you know, you have to follow Robert's rules, of course.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, somebody would nominate Austin Smith. And Lisa would stand up and be like, this is a hardworking volunteer who is young, he's a millennial, he's gay, and he would add some great diversity to the group. And then somebody else would throw in a nomination from the other side, like fucking, I don't know, Ron Ryan. And
oh, God.
then they would put it to a vote. And I would vote for whoever I was supposed to. They voted for whoever they were supposed to. And every single time,
Yep.
except for a few, we lost. But like Lisa got up and introduced me as one of the options for executive chair way at the bottom. I remember our whole list
That's
had already been
humiliating.
scratched out, dude. Our whole list had already been scratched out. And Lisa got elected to one of the executive chairs. Dan got elected to one of the chairs. And then she goes, I remember she's like, we're out of people. I go, I'll do it. Because I'm just sitting across from her. I'm like, just throw my name in there. Why not? I got elected to the executive chair.
You got elected to the executive committee?
I did. And we left the meeting feeling very deflated. I did, at least. I felt very defeated. We this whole thing that we'd been working for a year was completely gutted and undercutted
Yep.
by a mole. And by the person, and really what it comes down to is that we were so ineffective. 9 times out of 10, you and I were working the meetings as parking attendants, going outside and telling people where to park.
Yep.
I'm not saying we could have been useful elsewhere, but like the meetings were just so terrible, dude. We were doomed from the beginning, and I just really feel stupid.
It makes me cringe.
Exactly.
How bad those meetings were. And we believed in it for a little bit. For a little bit, we really believed in it. Like, oh, this is so fucking cool. Oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this to the Clark County Democratic Party. They're not going to know what's coming. Fucking humiliating.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely humiliating.
Truly terrible. And I remember, that was, I can't remember what show I was in at the time. I guess it probably would be Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. And all of the meetings for the executive committee every month were on a Wednesday, and every Wednesday night I had rehearsal, and so I kept canceling meeting after meeting after meeting. I can't be there. Eventually I just resigned my position, and haven't spoken to Lisa, Dan, anybody from that really since then. Didn't do any volunteering in 2020, of course, because of COVID, and didn't care really about the election that much.
Nope.
After the 2016 thing. So
yeah, didn't even occur to me to volunteer.
I did in I guess that was also in 2018. I did go to
you went to some sort of like little event, right, and stole something?
I went to a Richard Cordray event. I didn't steal anything, but I got a Ted Strickland sign and a proud to be a Democrat button. But I saw Sharon Stout at that meeting.
When did you steal something from Ron?
Oh yeah, that was in 2013. Ron Irvin.
Oh, Irvin, yeah. That one, yeah.
That's the Climate Denier Award, which I believe I might have like one of the only ones left, because they all went to they ordered all these trophies that have a unicorn that says like universal, like climate denier, and they gave it to like Republican senators and congressmen who inevitably just threw it away.
Yeah.
And I just kept mine.
That's cool. That's cool as fuck that you have that.
Yeah, so I feel like maybe I have one of the only ones. But
that's cool
to wrap it up, I ended up resigning my position, and they were very mad about it.
Who was?
the whole, not the actual Democratic Party. Tracy Roberts was pissed at me. She was
How do
like,
you know that?
because I sent an email. I was like, hey, I resign. And they were like, I guess we can accept an email resignation, but normally you would have to come in and, like, with a notarized letter and, like, all this other shit. And Charlie Bush responds to the email and says, you know what, in all caps, because he's like 90, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and accept that this is his resignation. Don't bother coming. I'm like, okay, yeah, they were pissed. They were done with me. But I don't care. But it was a total and colossal failure, so what can I say? It's definitely embarrassing to think about, and, you know, but, you know, I do wish, what was I going to say? I was going to talk about today's party. Crystal Phillips is still the secretary of the party. I still get notes all the time, the executive committee notes. I don't read them anymore, but they never bothered to take me off their mailing list. And I can't remember, Charlie Bush, though, I do know, is resigning already. He's no longer going to be...
You should email him, just be like, I guess you can resign.
Right, is no longer going to be the party chair, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But you know what, I wish them the best, but I know they're never going to get anything accomplished. And Clark County just goes further and further to the right every year, so...
Fuck them.
What can you do?
We don't even live in Clark County anymore, so fuck them.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe I guess we just need to get involved with our local Democratic Party so we can have news stories to talk about.
My local Democratic Party, they're already pretty progressive, so shout out to Franklin County.
And it's way too big to try to get involved with, I feel like.
No, would
It's
never
like,
even try.
Yeah. The Chatham County Democratic Party, you know, the Chatham County Democratic Party in 2020 didn't even have yard signs. I had to drive a county over and then buy a $10 yard sign, so...
Yep.
Shout out to the Bryant County Democratic Party. Until next time, folks, stay moat.
Really, the economy is stupid, right?